Guitar Collector Guy presents an ode to Blasphemy, my Telecaster Humbucker project. I'm a big fan of Mathew Scott's channel, and I always love watching his stuff because he has this kind of really laid-back style in how he presents material on guitars. And recently he had a video that really kind of resonated with me, Is This Blasphemy? And it was, he found a 60s Telecaster and through a friend, and it had been converted into this kind of like hybrid guitar where it's basically a standard Fender American made Telecaster, but the insides of the guitar were basically all from either a Fender SG or a Fender Les Paul, and the sounds that he got out of this thing were just incredible. And the look of it also too, I love. And I've had plenty of the Fender Telecaster Customs and other dual humbucker models, but they always had this like large pickguard, and to me they don't really look like a Telecaster, where this does. And I immediately loved it and loved the sound that he was able to get out of this. And it set me on a mission searching out the parts to make my own. And I made the decision that I wasn't going to, hack up an existing Telecaster, but I would actually create something. And so I was really, really lucky to find somebody had a Telecaster body, a Warmouth Telecaster body on eBay for $500. That basically it was as though they heard what I wanted to do and put it out there. And it's a Telecaster body that's been modified almost exactly like Mathew's, and has two Seymour Duncan pickups in it. And so I took a chance, bought it, and then at first I had, a player Telecaster neck. And then I decided, the longer I waited for the body to arrive, that, I really wanted to do this guitar right. And so I went ahead and ordered an American Professional Telecaster neck with standard 10 millimeter tuner holes with the two guide pens, and in a roasted maple finish. I realized that Mathew's had a rosewood neck, but this neck just really kind of caught my eye, and I decided that I wanted it. I also I wanted it to have kind of the vintage look with the slotted tuners. Fender is now producing in this, it's a vintage style of tuner that actually is a direct replacement for their modern tuners. So it's not the smaller hole size, it's actually 10 millimeter and with the two holes, and it's a direct replacement. But when you're done, it actually does look like an older set of vintage tuners. And so I got those, and I also bought an aged vintage string tree for this. And I gotta tell you, I haven't been this excited about putting a guitar together in actually quite a while. I don't know why, but I just was. And so when everything arrived, I had gotten home from dinner with my wife and decided that, I wanted to jump in the garage and put this thing together right away. And so I asked her if it was okay. She didn't mind. She was like, great, go ahead and do it. Enjoy yourself. And so this is the video where I'm basically putting it together, and I love the outcome, the product that I ended up putting together. And this is probably now, I would say, one of my all-time favorite guitars that I own. And I sent Mathew an email thanking him for the inspiration and sending him a picture. So the neck was a really, really tight fit, which is a good thing. And I got it in there and tightened it down and so on. A couple of notes of kind of a part 2 to this video that'll be coming out are, one, I'm going to have to do some filing on the nut, and I'll do that in a future video. And then the other thing is, ultimately I'm gonna have to put a shim in the neck, because I've had to bottom out the low E and high E saddles when I was setting up string height, and I'm still not where I want it to be. The action is kind of high, and so I have ordered a set of shims that here in the next few days I'll go ahead and install one, and then see the impact that I have, and I'll record the video. In the same secondary video, I'll show you how to measure for proper height for your nut, and then how to properly file so you have a perfect fit for the strings. The factory necks that come from out of the factory for Fender come with a nut set up for 9s, and I play 10s, and so you can tell when you install the string right away that the low E string is too high. It's actually sitting at the top of the nut, and it's not actually fitting down into the channel, and so I need to widen the channel for that, and so on. So after waxing up the screws, and I just wanted to check here and put a little bit of a gap in the neck to make sure that the screws were lined up with the holes already drilled in the neck. They were, and so I started tightening them down across from each other a little bit at a time, in a similar way to almost you would put a tire, a replacement wheel on your car. As soon as I was done, I was a little nervous about neck alignment to make sure that the neck, I wouldn't have to do any adjustments where the bridge and the neck was aligned properly. I was really happy to find that after I installed the low E and high E strings first, the neck alignment for this, between this neck and this body, was perfect. Again, the only thing that I'm ultimately going to have to do, and you do have to do sometimes when you're putting two kind of disparately manufactured parts together, like a neck and a body, you may have to do alterations like a shim of some sort. So nobody actually taught me how to do the two-string installation for checking neck alignment. I thought that I was being really creative in coming up with this because I hadn't really seen it anywhere. It's kind of funny, the other day though, I was looking at different kits that you can buy. I was looking at the Harley Benton kits and then Stewie Mac Telecaster kits, and I was reading the instruction manual online for the Stewie Mac kit, and it actually says after installing the neck, install the low and high E strings, and then check and make sure the strings are actually situated properly on the neck and aligned properly. And I realized that I was walking down, as they say, a trodden and beaten trail. Long walked before me. And so, but this is a really good idea. It's a really easy way. You're going to see right out of the gate, as soon as you install the two strings, if the neck is actually in alignment to the body, left or right. And I've had necks where I've installed them, like on the Telecaster that I was building for myself out of parts. In a prior video, right out of the gate, I could see that the high E string, when it got near the body, was literally off the fretboard. And so I had to loosen the screws, and there was enough play in the neck pocket on the body where I could actually move it to the left and then tighten it down, and then actually move it to the right. And then it was fine. This guitar, I was really lucky. I installed the strings and it was perfectly set up right away. The strings were set up exactly how they should, and so I moved on to the next step and installed the remaining 4 strings. I have a Telecaster neck sitting on a table in my garage that's a testament to making sure that you install string trees properly by measuring the depth of the screw and not drilling deeper than that. And what I mean by that is the neck actually in the head has a hole on the other side where a friend of mine drilled all the way through, and he asked me to fix it for him. But so for vintage string trees, you want to install basically between the third and fourth tuning pegs on the headstock. What I do is I place the top of the tree. I take the drill bit and kind of poke into the wood to mark where I'm going to drill. And then I measure on the drill bit using a Sharpie where I don't want to drill beyond, or the depth. And I use the Sharpie primarily because I've had tape slip on me before. Very simple way of helping yourself eliminate tuning problems on a guitar is to do a really good stretching of the strings after you install them on the guitar before you really tune up. So this is the first tuning of the guitar, but you're going to tune the guitar after each adjustment you make. If you like this video, click like, subscribe, and notify. So I put a capo at the first fret and then measured at the 6th fret with a .006 feeler gauge to see what the neck relief is while I was holding down a fret near the where the neck and the body meet, and found that the clearance actually was fine and I didn't need to do any adjustment to the truss rod. So my first measurement of string height showed that the action on this thing was set up actually really, really high, and I needed to make a lot of adjustment. For the sake of the length of the video, I edited out the many different iterations of where I tuned, measured, and adjusted the saddles until I got them to where I wanted them to be. What I ultimately discovered, though, and I talked about it in the beginning of the video, was I literally bottomed out the saddles for the low E and the high E strings, and the guitar for me, I mean, it was a medium to high action, but it's high for me, so this is where I'm going to have to do a shim. So this guitar body came with 6 saddles, with modern saddles, and I tuned up the guitar. I then depressed each of the 12th frets and then would make adjustments individually. Because a blocked non-tremolo type of bridge, I'm able to make adjustments one string at a time with the tuning. I don't have to retune the all 6 strings each time. I mean, you can. And there may be a little bit of a variation, but not really with this type of a bridge. And so the great thing about having the 6 saddles was I was able to get intonation and just really locked down for each string. When you're doing intonation checking, you're making sure that the strings are tuned to pitch, not flat, not sharp. And then you're depressing each of the strings at the 12th fret, and you're looking for the same thing. You want the same note, and you want it to be tuned to pitch and not flat or sharp. If it is sharp, you basically move the saddle back ever so lightly towards the bridge. If it is flat, you move the saddle forward towards the neck. And you just keep on doing this in very, very small incremental adjustments, and then retuning and testing again. And Holy crap. I have to admit, this is exactly the sound that I wanted and had hoped for from this guitar. It totally cracked me up when I was listening back to myself kind of giving it its first run through. The times in the video you can hear me kind of going, wow. It was pretty cool. I'm really, really happy with this guitar. Really glad that I watched Mathew's video. So, I had the inspiration to do this. Watch for a second video where I work on the nut and put a shim in the neck pocket in the body. So thank you very much for going on this journey with me. Thank you for watching Guitar Collector Guy. Really appreciate you being here. Hope you come back and watch more. If you like this video, click like, subscribe, and notify.